Just give me a second. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. So, welcome everyone in TV land or in my Zoom room, my tiny little Zoom room. We're going to do a very Laban based exercise class today. And I have to say, all my work is very Laban based, but I'll talk more from a Laban perspective as we're doing it. But it's still exercise. So, let's start with deep underlying the foundation of it all, breath support. Inhaling and opening and exhaling and just free flow, shake it out for a second. Let it go. See if you can relax your neck and tongue and face enough. Sounds like that when you shake it out. Inhale, lift and open, fill up, expand. Hello, plants. And exhale, shake, 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 shake. Feeling the relationship to the ground. So as we bounce, we get that sort of rebound thing happening. Let the rebound come into your body. So there's like that also, it's not just that everything is going down, right? It's going down, but there's this rebound that comes back up. So we want to think of that underlying support of the rebound in our body, in our bones, in our tissues. Inhale, open, fill up and expand. And exhale, shake, 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 letting go of any extra tension. Any things that happened before or might happen afterwards, just coming into your body in this moment. And let's spiral. So this was vertical plane, right? Opening, we're opening into the vertical plane. And as we spiral, we're moving into the horizontal plane. Looking around behind us. Swinging your arms around at mid-level in the horizontal plane. Feeling into your lungs and diaphragm. Breathing. And then let's take our hands on our hips and we're going to circle. Actually, let's just side our ribs. So you're going to stabilize your lower body and you're mobilizing up here on your ribs. If we were in jazz class, we'd be doing like our whole isolation. So we're just shifting like an old-fashioned typewriter, the rib cage one way and then the other way, shifting and shifting. When I teach this in a gym and people haven't done it, they often want to move their pelvises. So we're just stabilizing the bottom of the body without putting a whole lot of tension in there. We can just put our legs and bones in that place and we don't have to do a whole lot. And then let's shift forward and backward with our rib cage. So it's forward and backward. What is this for? This is in the interests of more breath support by freeing up the diaphragm underneath our lungs. Good. And then we're going to circle our pelvis. So circling the pelvis, letting the bones and muscles of the feet, lower leg, upper leg, and torso be really mobile and free. So we're not trying to nail anything down. We're not trying to stabilize anything. We're just letting it all have some freedom. Change direction other way, taking the tension out by moving. So I could do this with a lot of tension. I can also do it with a lot of flow and release, letting go, circling around, letting that move. Let's take it a little tighter in. I'm going to bend my knees and I'm going to really circle so that I'm circling my knees and I'm moving through the bones and muscles of my feet. And change direction, letting the feet do what they're supposed to do, which is support the movement of the rest of the body, right? If we wear shoes all day and our feet don't get that movement, we are ripping off our own support structures, right, which are our feet. So let's do a little more foot stuff. We're going to go up onto the tippy toes, lower down, bend your knees, and straighten. So again, we're working with this vertical dimension, this up-downness. Up, lower your heels, bend your knees, stretch, up, lower, bend, stretch, press, and lower. Try on the press not to let your ankles pop out. Try to feel that alignment so that it's really straight down through your foot. Bend, straighten, press straight up and lower, bend, extend, up, and down. In Laban, we talk a lot about folding and unfolding. Like if I'm bending my knees, I'm folding this joint. But if I'm lengthening up, then I'm folding in this joint as I come down, right? So there's this unfolding and folding that we can look at in the body, just as another way of thinking about things. So we're going to do another thing here. This is like relationship of your hip socket through your knee, through your ankle. You're going to walk your foot out by, that's it, and then coming back in. Heel, toe, heel, toe. So it's going to go toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe. Bringing it in. So what we're feeling is this external rotation and internal rotation. This is the rotary factor, the rotational possibility in our hip. So I'm going to, and I'm not really worrying too much about stabilizing. Let's bring our legs right next to each other and start it. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's enough. In 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bring it in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just feeling how and what's possible. And so I'm doing a lot of work right now because I have a little bit of a knee injury. So I'm doing a lot of work with the relationship of my ankle and my hip and my knee. Because it's usually when we have an injury in one place, it's usually related to a lot of other things. All right, let's open wide, shift from side to side, big weight shift. Right, let yourself really shift over. Feel it as you're pouring your body from one side to the other. Let the head and neck relax down, relax your tongue, relax your throat. Breathe. Yeah, feeling what kind of tension is happening in your head, neck, and shoulders. And if you can, just let it go. Shake it out, let it go. Yeah, so this rippling from side to side could be very free flow, very easy, or it can be more specific, really trying to move through your spine vertebra by vertebra in this sort of side-side pattern. And then coming in, rolling it all the way up. We're going to work with internal rotation, external rotation in the arms. Could do the legs also. If you feel like you have the bandwidth, you're going to do both. If it feels like too much to think about, just do the upper body. I might just do the upper body because we already did that lower. But if you want to go in and out with the legs, you can. On top, we're doing a cat-cow in the spine and external rotation, internal rotation. Oh, I am using my legs. Inhale, open. Exhale, closed. Inhale, opening the front of the body. Exhale, we could say we're opening the back of the body now. Inhale, front of the body opens, back of the body opens. Or we could just say opening and closing because we're front centric. Inhale, open, exhale, close. One more time. Inhale, open, exhale, close. Just shake it out, let it go. Shake your legs, shake your butt, shake your arms, shake your head. So a great way to let go of tension is to shake it out. And also if we've noticed that there's one part that's not moving, that's where the tension is. That's where we want to let go more. All right. All right, let's take it down into the floor, onto the floor. And we're going to lay down. We're going to do a body half from one side to the other. So homolateral movement, one half and the other half. Oh, let's just do it like this. So soles of your feet together, knees open wide, and then you're going to close one arm and leg until you fall onto your side. Then you're going to open that same arm and leg until you're on your back. Other side, arm and leg closed, closing one half of your body, letting yourself melt into the floor, and then open, open, open onto your back. Letting it close, 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 trying to coordinate the arm and the leg to go together, and then opening, opening, opening. And letting this movement happen with as little tension as possible. Closing in, opening out, closing in, opening out. Now we're going to open it and make it bigger. So you're going to pick your legs up off the floor. You're going to close it in. And then through here, you're going to unfold, open it out, fold it in, and then open it out. I'm trying to keep my head and shoulders really relaxed. So this is massaging through the back of my body as I roll across, massaging out the tissue, the fascia, and the muscles, all the stuff. Although the muscles are really what are holding the fascia is really what's holding the muscles in place. Like each little muscle fiber has a sort of microtubule of fascia that's creating its form. So when we're rolling across, let's just do it really easy. This time you can kind of push. So I can push with my foot, and then I can push with the other foot. And I'm not going all the way, I'm just pushing, just to feel the different coordination of pushing in a kind of closed position versus opening and closing, right? I can push with one side to get over there, push with the other side. Just feeling how each of those things lands in your own body. Like, do I like this? Do I not like this? And a lot of times it could be on one day it feels one way, and on another day it feels very different. So when you are making opinions about what you like and don't like in movement, challenge yourself to really be present with, maybe it's just today or whatever. Maybe that's a good thing to think about anytime you are liking or disliking anything. There are probably a lot of variables around reasons why you might like or not like something. Sometimes we don't like something because we actually really need to be doing the other thing. We need the recuperation in something different. All right, we're going to press up, and let's just drop our knee down to one side, then press it up and come down. So we're playing with this opening and closing in different ways again. Up, open, press it up, and come down. Unfold in the hips, lower down with one side, press it back up, come back down, press it up, unfold, up, down, unfold in the hips, drop the knee, press it up, lower. So again, here's that rotary factor, internal, external rotation in the leg, in the hip socket, up, drop it down, press it up, and lower, up, drop it down, press it up, and lower, and let that go. Shake it out. Let all the tissue in your legs just soften back up. And let's take a happy baby. Finding some happy babiness in your happy baby. And I'm going to take that into rolling forward and backward. So this rolling forward and backward, we're rolling through the sagittal plane, the wheel plane. We are rolling like a wheel. If you feel like you want to hang out in your plow, go for it. Yeah, so for me, my shoulders get tight because my hamstrings are really open. So, yeah, so if your hamstrings are tighter, your back has to really round to curl forward. If your hamstrings are really open, your back doesn't have to hardly round to do anything. So that tissue can get tight. So this is just ways that we find balance. Usually when we're really open in one area, there's often something else that's a little bit more tight or stable. All right, let's open up into an X, the shape of an X. So in your X shape, you can take your arms up. X should be slightly longer than it is wide, like you're in a door frame touching the corners. We're going to take a heel rock here, really letting this release jaw, neck, tongue, pelvis, abdominals, easy and loose. So I feel like in the fitness world, we've really been taught we're using our muscles, we're doing this stuff, but we can also move in much more fluid ways. We're still using our muscles, but we're not overusing them. We're not driving the car with the brakes on, right? We're just letting the bones move. We're letting the fluids move. We're working with a minimal amount of effort, most efficient way of moving. Then we're going to come in. We're going to take our elbow and knee and touch across our body. So contralateral pattern. Elbow to knee. You can take your head up off the floor for this if you want to, or leave it down. Exhale. Inhale, using your breath. Open it up. Inhale. Inhale. Now we're going to change the pattern. We're going to do a regular body half, elbow to knee. This is a Bartenieff, and then slide it out. Elbow to knee, and slide it out. So in this body half, what we're kind of thinking is that our shoulders and hips are going to stay aimed at the ceiling. So I'm not doing my body half and then popping over to my side. I'm trying to stay sort of flat in my torso. Even though my knee is going to come up, my foot may come off the floor, I'm trying to kind of keep my hips and shoulders square to the ceiling. So it's kind of like a lizard on its back, moving, sliding out. And you want to think almost like you're listening to your knee. Like your knee is going to tell you a secret. So this head tail curled position from side to side is fully head tail. And then release. And we're going to come back to the contralateral pattern with a straight arm and straight leg, meeting right up. If you were a star, your center point of your star would go right out. And that's where we want to touch into. Exhale up, inhale down. Using your breath. In through your nose, out through your mouth. So that deep underlying breath support is supporting your movement. And then come in, just heel rock. Let it go. And we're going to do a sort of different version of the thigh lift. We're going to slide the heels in, a little more exercisey version. Sliding the heels in, heels and sit bones lined up with each other. So there's a sit bone heel connection. It doesn't mean they're touching, it just means they're aware of each other. Or you can go, oh, my sit bones are here, my heels are there. Pressing up into a bridge. From here, you're going to just take a little walk. You can bring your feet a little closer together, inch them in. And then when I say take a walk, it's not taking a walk at all. You're just going to lift your legs up. And it's like your knee is just arcing up through space. And you're pushing the floor away with the bottom leg. You could exhale up, inhale down, pelvis high. Going for a march. We're going to change it. You're going to come up, reach it out, flex your foot, point your toes, fold it in. Up, out, flex, point, fold, down. Bent knee, straight leg, flex, point, fold it in. Lower, bent knee, straight leg, flex, point, fold it in. Down, bent knee, straight leg, flex, point, fold, lower, bent, straighten, flex, point, fold, and take it all the way down. Draw your knees into your chest. Keeping your knees together, just massage out your back. Relax your body, relax your guts. So when we think of core support, we can also think of that core support involving our organs and our guts, so that the center of our body, like core is not just the core muscles. It is also everything that's packed inside of there. Letting yourself release into your body, letting your organs have some spaciousness, right? So we're not trying to squish them all in. We're giving them some movement, some mobility. We also want the organs to have a little bit of capacity to move against each other, so they're not like just gummed up. Circling the knees away from each other, big circles. You can lift your head if you want to. So when I do it this way, and if I go kind of slow, it sort of stretches out my lower back a little bit. So feel free to do that, or just lay on your back. Also, when I do it like this, and I let my spine have some freedom and movement, then I'm massaging out my sacrum and my lumbar and my thoracic a little bit, like thoracic into lumbar, like this section where the change happens is arching and curling a little bit there. Change direction if you haven't. Again, you can do it head up or not. We're lubricating up our hip sockets. In Laban, we talk about our core distal relationship, like inner to outer, our center to periphery. We could also talk about like our proximal joints, our shoulders and our hips, our mid-limb joints, our elbows and our knees, ankles and wrists, kind of getting out there toward the distal edges of our body. So these are just ways of talking about the body, about your body, about our bodies. All right, so let's do one where we're going to do a lot of folding and unfolding. We're going to mostly work in the sagittal plane. We're going to stretch very long. I'm longer than my mat. Scooch up. Reach it out. So flexing through the feet, feeling the back body. Deep breath in on the exhale. Curling to come up. We're going to inhale, lift. I'm actually going to flex my feet there too. And then lower down, rolling it down. Inhale, stretch, flex. Exhale, rolling up. Inhale, flexing. And I'm going to take my hands a little bit behind me, right? I feel like we're all a little enclosed these days in our phones, in our devices, in our lives. So just letting ourselves open a little bit beyond that. Taking it down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale deep into your belly. Exhale. Inhale. Full voluminous lungs. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And we're going to change it entirely. So that was very sagittal. Now we're just going to add the horizontal plane. And we're going to just come halfway down. So we're going to be here and we're going to spiral, serve the sandwiches to everybody on one side of the room. Exhale. I'm using internal and external rotation in my arm here. So there's this extra little bit of relationship into the rotator cuff by internally rotating, spiraling out, serving the sandwiches, feeling the core distal relationship as I'm coming in, spreading out, opening up, closing in. Inhale, expanding out. Exhale, inhale, open. Exhale, inhale, open. Exhale, inhale, open. Last one each side. Exhale, inhale. Last one on the other side. Exhale, inhale. And then taking it back down. Let's just open up the hip flexors, press it up. From there, we're going to just dip one hip down on the exhale and then inhale both hips, dip the other hip down. So here's a smaller version of what we were sort of doing before when we were moving the leg out to the side. Up, dip a hip. Inhale up, dip and press, dip and press, dip and press, dip and press. And then roll it down. Take your knees in and just melt into the floor. Let the weight of your body imprint into the ground, right? Letting your bones become very heavy. Deep breath in. On the exhale, just sink into the ground for a second. And we're going to do some crossing over stuff. So I did an embodiment PSA today on a public service announcement about embodiment on Instagram, which I try to do almost every day. And sometimes I have special guests, but today I did it about opening and closing. Like we can be very open or we can kind of close in. And sometimes we really need to close in. Sometimes we need the support of our own body. So we're just going to do a few breaths with that. And what I'm going to do is there's a few ways this could happen. I could wrap around like this, or I could also just put my foot over the other foot and close my arms over my chest, just letting my body come into itself. This is like one of my favorite things, this wrap. Like it just feels really good to me. So once I come in, I'm just going to take a few deep breaths, tuning into the rise and fall of my breath and also feeling the growing and shrinking with my breath, right? So this is shape flow support, like the internal flows of my body in alignment with itself, right? Like when we need to just shut out the outer world a little bit and come in, this is a great position to come into. And if we've been in for a very long time, sometimes we need to go out more, but let's just stay a couple more breaths with this fold. One hand is wrapped around, the other hand's over my shoulders. This could be different on you. You can be in any position that feels comfortable, but just the idea of crossing midline and maybe even wrapping. So like this foot gets to really wrap around on my body. Other people may not have access to that. Really, wherever you are is fine. But even just coming in with one foot over the other foot can give us that closed in feeling. This can be very comforting too. So just letting that twist go. Give yourself a little shake. We don't have to open all the way up. We can just let it release in still a sort of narrowed in way. And then let's change it to the other side so that whichever leg was not wrapped around, whichever arm was not wrapped around, change it. Non-dominant one gets to come over at the top. And just feel into that. Like, how does it feel when the non-dominant one is over? And if possible, imagine that you're making an imprint on the ground. So you're letting yourself really settle into the ground. You're allowing gravity to hold you on the planet. You are letting yourself nestle into the earth or into gravity. Letting your weight really drop and imprint. Couple of deep breaths there. Resourcing ourselves, right? Coming into ourselves like, oh, I just need to go into myself for a little while. Which we could spend hours and days here, but let's keep going and moving a little bit more. So unscramble your way out of that. Give it a little shake. Give yourself the space of the room. Allow it to come into your eyes. Looking around, feeling yourself. I immediately go into this head tail thing. So I start by looking around, my head comes online, and then I'm like, I want to wag my tail a little bit too. And then I find some fluidity and freedom down the whole central channel. And I would call this deep core support. It's deep core flow, right? Where, oh, okay, my cerebral spinal fluid is floating around there, bolstering my brain, bolstering my nervous system, protecting it. But not only is it protecting my brain so that if I knock my head around, it won't damage my brain, it's also nourishing my brain and clearing waste. So we have this fluid in our surrounding our brain, surrounding our spinal cord that is supporting us in multiple ways. So I feel like when I come into these closed positions, I can tune into that. And our cerebral spinal fluid is the closest thing to like fresh water that we have in our body. So sometimes we just get to come in and bathe in that place of like, internal deep core flow. And now let's move out of that into big movement and exercise. So we're going to take our hands behind our head and we're going to cross and then bring it back in. So we're still staying kind of closed. One leg reaches out. We can bring both legs in, cross it over, bring it in, cross it over, bring it in, reach it out. We're just letting one leg spoke out into the world. And the other elbow, same thing. We're letting part of our body go out into the environment. Bridging into being, not just within ourselves, but also out in the world. Shake it out. That feels weird on my knee right now, so I'm going to let that one go. And let's take it's not going to be the same as a heel rock if our heels were dug into the floor when we were laying down. Here's the first heel rock. But this is going to be like a little push with the same idea as the heel rock. You're letting your rib cage, your heart, your guts, all those things, your liver, your spleen, your pancreas, your thymus, letting that all have some movement as you can kind of push and pull with your feet. Freeing up the flow from head to tail, massaging through your back. I feel like we have spent a lot of time today on our back, so let's flip it around and come onto our hands and knees. So flipping around, we're going to do a very continuum-y version of what we're going to do now, which is Coming onto hands and knees. I'm trying to figure out the best angle to show this. And what we're going to do is just free up our spine. So it's again head, tail. We can add breath support with the theta breath. And the theta breath is a soft hiss, like so the invitation is to come into your body in this quadruped position and see if there are different ways that you can move your torso, move your spine, accessing novel ways of being in your body. You can play with weight shift, sort of subtle weight shifts where I've got 75% of my upper body weight on one hand, but maybe 20% on the other. You can play around with that in a very analytical, thinky way, or you can just feel yourself pouring around to different limbs, giving your head, tail this freedom, letting that cerebral spinal fluid that's bolstering your head and tail connection, bolstering your spinal cord, bolstering your brain, have some freedom to move around, renegotiating the inner space of your body, of being, in a very exploratory, free-form way. There's no real big goal here of achievement. It's more exploring, finding novelty, and being with yourself, allowing any of the kinks to kind of melt away by letting go of some of the older holding patterns, if that feels good, right? So when we start to do different things, we start to notice, oh, I've been holding tension over here. Sometimes we don't notice things until like somebody touches us and like, oh yeah, I didn't feel that, or until our awareness touches itself on those places. So give yourself some freedom. You can ripple through one way, ripple through the other. Let your head, tail free up. Oh, I just had an image of those Chinese dragons, like that have like people in them and how the whole thing moves, and there's people all over the inside moving, jumping, and the dragon's bodies have this massive amount of free flow. So find that Chinese dragon movement, inviting in free flow and relationship within your body, relationship and connection. You can also do this with your elbows on the floor. We're going to actually do this in 3 different positions. So if it feels comfortable for you, take your elbows onto the floor. If you want to stay on your hands, that's fine. Feeling the relationship of your fingers through your wrists, through your elbows, through your arms, through your scapula, into the rib cage, into the lungs and the heart. Yeah, arms are like the wings of the heart, wings of the lungs. And then the next place we're going to go to is you're going to curl your toes under. And this could either be, I don't really want to be in a downward dog. I want to go kind of wider in the legs, but like almost like a big square position between your hands and your feet. So you're still in quadruped. You're just going to free up, shift around, let yourself play with weight shift, with shape flow, with fluidity in your body, shifting around. If we always do the same thing, things don't change very much. We want to play with different possibilities. Breath support underlying all that movement. We've done a lot of hamstring work, so your hamstrings, back of the legs should be fairly open. That whole fascial train of the back body has been hydrated through the movement that we've been doing. Now give it some free flow. If you want to stand on your legs and come down with less weight on your hands, you can do that. Or you can bear weight on your hands, whatever feels good to you. So really exploratory. You can play with the forward, backward, push, pull pattern. You can play with a side versus side pattern. You can play with a contralateral relationship where you're feeling the diagonals through your body. You can move around without even thinking about it between those patterns. And then let's make our way back down onto our mats sideways and get a little bit more exercisey. Hold on for 1 second. And let's take it down onto our sides. So we're going to start. And it's so for me, for my body, for my movement, like I need to do a lot of different practices. I need to do really fluid shape flow practices. I also need to do more strength-based training. That's what keeps me healthy and happy. And I think most people would benefit from a balance of those types of things. And then I also need to like go for walks and be in nature. So we're going to inhale up, exhale, spiral, inhale, unfurl, and exhale, hips come down. My knees are bent. Inhale, pressing my hips up, exhale, twisting. Inhale, open, exhale, down. Inhale, lift. So here's that rotary factor as I spiral under. Unspiral, lower down, press it up, roll it in, press it up, come down. So I can feel my lats really engaging. Lats, quadratus lumborum, up, down, open, lower. Press it up, fold it in, lift and down, up, spiral, unfurl, and lower. Last one, up, spiral, unfurl, and come down. We're going to take the bottom leg forward and the top leg back, and we'll side stretch. Once you get into that side stretch, kind of curl forward a little bit and then arch up a little bit. So all that tissue through the side of your body, not just the tissue, it's the lung tissue. Also, it's the heart tissue. It's the stuff inside. It's not just like muscle fiber and fascia. It's getting a chance to hydrate, have a little bit of life force energy and mobility. Diaphragm, breathing muscles, and release and come around. So our diaphragm is also, as it descends, if we breathe in deeply, we want to breathe down into our guts. We want the movement down into our guts, into our pelvic floor, into our reproductive organs, like so that there's this energy moving up and down with our breath, this natural growing and shrinking, bulging and hollowing, this natural shape flow support underlying all of our stuff. We're not, there's no underlying support. We're like, there's fluidity, there's support, there's some flexibility so we can be present in what's going on without, going into a big alarm factory in our body. Taking it down onto the other side. Knees are bent. Inhale up. Exhale, spiral. Inhale, unfurl. Exhale, fold down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, closing. Opening. Lower down. Lift. Close it in. Unfurl and come down. Lift. Curl it in. Open. Lower. 3 more. Up. Spiral. Open it back up. Down. 2 more. Up. Spiral. Open. Lower. Last one. Up and spiral. Lift and lower. Also, when we're in these different positions, like the water in our body is going to pool towards the floor, right? So when we are on our sides, we're hydrating in a different way. We're working in a different way. So we want to have like lots of forms of movement where we're not just vertical, but sometimes we're on our front, sometimes we're on our back, sometimes we're on our sides. Side stretch, hollow in, opening and closing. Deep shape flow support, deep core support with the breath. And then come in and we're going to just roll across, spiraling across our butts. So you're going to roll one way and then the other way. So we had that spiral in our upper body in the last exercise. Now we're spiraling more in the lower body and massaging through our glutes and rotators. So I'm going to take it onto one side and then I'm going to stay there and I'm just going to kind of rock back and forth. I can also rock forward and up and down. So side to side, up and down, I can kind of circle in there. So I'm getting shear and compression in my glutes, in my rotators. This is some like happy, healthy hips stuff. Change it to the other side. Letting your knees drop, letting yourself move so that your muscles, your fascia, even your bones are getting this extra push-pull, shearing, and compression. right? That is healthy stuff. That allows the tissue to renegotiate whatever it needs to renegotiate. Like, oh, we could have a little more fluid over here. Oh, we're a little overhydrated here. We can push some of it out. We can spread it more evenly. So that's sort of what could be happening when you get massage, but also when you're moving and you're moving your body in these different ways. All right, let's take it down and spiral again. This time, arms are out to the sides, dropping the knees one way and then the other. If you want to make it harder, you can straighten out your legs. This could be done much faster than I'm doing it. I'm going pretty slow right now because I want to stay aware of what it feels like, what I'm noticing in my own body. Try to stay present with yourself in your exercise. It can be a form of focus practice, right? Being with yourself as you're doing your things, moving, feeling what you're feeling. So you're present in your body. You're not checking out. Good. And let's bring it in. And we're going to, I keep doing the squishing up on my mat. Actually, I feel like this is a skill to be able to wiggle and move yourself like down or up without having to use your arms, right? Like I can just wiggle my whole body to move down, pulling, or I can wiggle my whole body to move up as I'm rocking and I'm moving and rocking. And I feel like these skills of being able to move on the floor without actually walking or pulling with your arms and legs, crawling, like this may be something that is necessary at some point in your life. Like let's say you fell and broke your leg. Like, these are dark reasons, but who knows? So being able to think, oh yeah, I can still move. I can inch my way across the room to the telephone or whatever it is, to the door, so that we have access to movement even under more dire circumstances. Just thinking about it now, so then if something happens, you're like, wait a minute, maybe I can just slowly wind my way across the floor, right? Could be many different ways of doing that. Inform yourself. One leg at a time, stretching in and out. And I want to say, like, I know so many older people that have fallen and broken things and been stuck on the floor for hours. It's like if you had a little bit of time thinking about how to roll around on the floor, maybe you wouldn't have been stuck for so long, right? So just thinking about it now. So if it does happen, you aren't stuck. One leg in at a time at a flex and point. As I'm flexing and pointing with this hand, I can feel what's happening in my calf and shin. So feel it. Feel what's going on. What are my muscles doing as I flex and point? What's my fascia doing? Awareness practices. And then most important of all, I think in all of this is to be kind to yourself, be kind to your body. Cultivate a relationship where you are working together. Breathing into it. And relax, just shake it out, let it go. Open your knees wider, internally rotate one leg at a time. Yeah, even like if you're injured or something happens and you get mad at yourself, that's not going to help you heal or deal with the injury. Like, yeah, I'm injured, but it becomes kind of interesting to me when things happen to me. I'm like, oh, that's what's going on now. Okay, let's see. How do I work with that? How do I work around it? How do I keep doing what I want to do? Or do I really need to rest? So I feel like being in wisdom relationship with your body is super important. I also like to build strength, so let's do some of that right now. You're going to stretch out and then draw it in. So here's an upper-lower pattern. Opening. I'm going in the sagittal, and then my arms are going through what would be, if I was standing up, my vertical plane. Opening, sweeping around and down. Inhale, open, exhale. My arms have this big circling thing as my legs are just going in and out. Using my breath. Last one. So adding the real big huff and puff can add, the breath muscles can add much more core support to how you're working, or breath support, right? There. I'm just engaging and like ready to go. All right. Let's push to roll. So I'm pushing off the back leg. I'm rolling onto my back leg. I'm pushing to roll onto my back leg, pushing with my leg. Or I could push with my upper body, push to get away, which is bringing me into a spiral, right? So just feeling into like, now I'm pushing with my feet. I could try pushing with my shoulders, right? Feeling how our body has so many ways of doing something. You can go to a dance class and see a bunch of people turning, and everyone has a different sort of way of getting there. Everyone has a different strategy for doing what they're doing. Let's open up into a straddle, and we're going to circle our pelvis in the most relaxed way possible. You can push from the back and lift yourself out of this. If you're tighter, you might want to elevate your pelvis sitting up on a towel or a blanket. Change direction. Right. When we move our bodies, we are inviting more life into our bodies, right? Especially if we can learn to move without the most maximum effort, like using what is necessary, but moving in fluid ways, moving with ease and agility, moving towards ease and agility. So if you're in your stretch and you're like, oh my God, I'm so tight, that's what you're telling yourself. Go, oh, I'm letting go. I'm stretching. I'm releasing. Let's take it over to the side. Side stretch. From here, I'm going to round down, and then I'm going to flex and arch, spiraling open. Exhaling, pointing my toes, taking it down toward my leg. Inhaling, flexing, arching, opening. Point and curl, flex and open. Point and curl, flex and open. Taking it up, over to the other side. So we can think that, like, if I think at the top of my foot, like my back, like it's rounded or it's arched, rounded, arched. And that actually helps me open up from the inside, so that my tissue on the inside is like, oh, we're doing this, as opposed to the outside's trying so hard to get the inside to open up. But if we're working together, it's a lot easier. So we're going to come over, round down, flex and arch. Exhale, soften down. Inhale, open it up. Exhale, towards your leg. Inhale, open, exhale, down, open, take it down. Inhale, open it up, and then come back up the center. Shift around a little bit in your torso, so that your tissues just come back to neutral. Taking it down the center. If you're kind of tight here, bend your knees a little bit. Breathing into it. So passive stretching, where you're just hanging out in the stretch. After you've warmed up, good time to passive stretch. So you want your body to be warm. There's some hydration in your muscles. You're fluid. You're not going to injure yourself. Then you want to spend a little bit of time there. How much time? It could be 15 seconds. It could be a minute. It could be longer. Listen to your own body. With the passive stretching, for me, I like it to actually not be that passive. There could be a little bit of micro movement in there, like a little tiny bit of wiggling. Not the bounce, 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 but just a little adjustment, bringing my awareness really into my body, into my sensation. And then let's push that away and come up, bringing your legs together, bang them, rotate them in and out. And let's go for a forward fold. Softening, you can walk your butt from side to side. And again, for me, I'm going to micro move around here. So it's like I'm taking the sponge and just giving it a little action. That's going to draw the water in and renegotiate where it is in my body, right? So that I have hydration, I have fluidity, I have mobility, and then coming up. And let's come towards the end. I don't even know what time it is. One day I'll have clocks in the rooms. Let's come onto our bellies and just do a little bit of back work from here. So coming all the way down, bend your knees, let your legs fall from side to side. So massaging out the front of your quads, relaxing your butt. Check out your floor. Maybe you'll see something you haven't seen for a while. Or maybe it'll just be sort of dusty or shiny and clean. But just let yourself look around, see what's down there. And then come in. We're going to do a baby cobra. And then connect your hands. Keep coming up. Open and lift. Look up. Take it back down. All the way down. So baby cobra. Hands connect. Push into the floor. Try not to sink into your shoulders. Really push up. Look up. Take it back down. And again, baby cobra, opening the front of the body. If you feel like you want to, try to touch your toes to your head. Oh, one day when I'm 6, come up. Last one. And then take it down. We're going to grab on, little quad stretch, heels towards your butt if that feels okay. And then you're going to kick up into a bow pose. From the bow, I'm going to open my knees wide, and then I'm going to touch them together. Knees open, knees close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Open. Try to touch them all the way. Open, close. Last one. Open, close, and relax. Take it into a child's pose. Breathe and melt. Soften. Feel the rise and fall of your breath. Breathing into the front and back space. Breathing into the side space. Breathing into the up-down space. Your length. And then breathing into your whole body like it's a bubble. Whole thing filling up. And then coming back up. Let's take our feet onto the floor, taking our butts up to the ceiling, opening the feet slightly wider. Just shift from side to side again. Let yourself hang. Breathe into it. We're going to slowly roll it up through the spine, all the way up to the top. And we'll do one more thing up here. Just interlacing your hands behind your back, opening your chest. I'm going to take my hands sort of down my tail, lift my heart and chest, and I'm going to drop my head back. If it doesn't feel good to you, don't drop your head back. You can look up. But if it feels okay, and then come back up. Shoulders back, chest open, squeezing the hands. Hands move down, chest lifts. And one more time. And then release that. Circle the shoulders one way, circle them the other way. Shake it all out. Invite some free flow in your body. And let's inhale. Open up through the vertical. We're going to take the hands forward, bend the knees, down through the sagittal. Circle the arms back forward and up. And open it out. Let's take it to the horizontal. Twist, 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 twist. So hands can come down. Vertical plane. Exhale. Bend your knees. Take it down. Sagittal plane. Swoop it back up again in the sagittal plane. Hands start to come down in the vertical. Open into the horizontal. And let's do the twist. Yeah, if you just did like one thing in the day, inhale up, exhale down, inhale up, and spiral, that would be a good thing to do. It would get you moving in this very three-dimensional way. So that is that. I'm going to close this out, the live stream. Please like and subscribe.